month of releases in April, since March was a tough act to follow, but one of the beauties of indie games is that there is such a huge number of them across different genres that you will always find something to love, so here's my top 10 picks for the month. Let's begin with Teardown. On paper, the most successful game on the list due to the sheer number of copies sold, and is indeed an excellent first-person physics sandbox title. There is a story campaign which sees you as the owner of a distressed business, taking on increasingly complex and dangerous jobs for the wealthy in what appears to be some sort of rich person slap fight, but unbeknownst to all parties, you're actually the person responsible for it all. Missions include destroying a building or stealing some item or vehicle, but it is perhaps not as exciting as it sounds since the levels are not exactly filled with enemies, but rather uses things like timers to evoke a sense of urgency. However, the physics simulation in this is very impressive, but the absolute freeform nature of this is simply amazing, compounded with Steam Workshop support and a huge community, making it one of the best physics titles out there.
We have decided to use an unusual ingredient in our specialties as a result of the insanely high meat prices, due to sheer hunger or simply because it tastes so delicious. Human flesh is highly appreciated. We do not know the reason why, and we don't really care.
Ravenous Devils is a deliciously macabre management sim that is essentially Sweeney Todd the video game, where, if you're not familiar, it is the story of a barber who kills his customers, passing their bodies along to his accomplice who chops them up and cooks them into pies. Only in this game, trade out the barber for a tailor and you get the idea. I'm honestly surprised how popular this gruesome game is, which I suspect is due to the very compelling gameplay loop of constant upgrades, and while it is on the easier side, is still worth a play. Now, Samurai Bringer did sponsor a video on the channel, so in the interest of full disclosure, I thought I'll let you know, but don't be fooled, this is an excellent action roguelite not to be missed. It has an awesome art style, very interesting controls with custom combos, and adds Musou elements to the roguelite genre in terms of the number of enemies, with a nice variety of playable characters as well, making it not to be missed.
The board is set. The native Fremen dream of creating a green Arrakis, while the Baron Harkonnen wants to paint it red.
I had a feeling that the not-so-indie Dune Spice Wars would turn out well, and was not surprised when it did well, being a 4X real-time strategy title that uses the classic IP.
The noble Atreides, bound by the whims of the Emperor, are blinded by their honor. Their quest to control Dune's precious resources while learning to survive its punishing sun distracts them from those who lurk in the shadows. Smugglers, who above all desire profit by turning the tables. The board is set. The Spice War begins.
It comes to us from developer Shiro Games, who made the excellent Northgard, which I just mentioned recently, implementing some of the same elements from that great game here, but add to that the strength of the IP and you have a winner. We'll be keeping an eye on this in early access. Peglin is a roguelite pachinko title, combining the addictive gameplay of bouncing balls to destroy pegs with a turn-based RPG. It looks very adorable since your main character is a little goblin, where adding Slay the Spire style relics is pretty clever for a game like this. It is in early access and does lack content, but a great first step so far, making it another one to watch.
The dark days descended upon you. You rose from an unforgivable betrayal. Now, let vengeance drive you forward.
The Iron Oath has been a title that I've been looking forward to for a very long time, and I'm happy to report that it does not disappoint. Being a pixel art, turn-based tactical RPG, we are managing a mercenary company. These mercenaries are characters in themselves and can get injured, grow old, and even die, where a close comparison to this is Darkest Dungeon, which is a game that I love as well. Like Peglin, this is in early access and lacks content, but the foundation is solid, so it's one to get.
Die and prosper by the Iron Oath.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe is an enhanced re-release of one of the best meta adventure games out there, which is very cleverly written, where it's worth a play whether you're completely new or have played the original, but definitely go in blind if you can.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-winning, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. Stanley was happy. One day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that led into the room. Stanley was once again stunned to this implication of any. Stanley walked upstairs the office mailbox. Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. Stanley took it first. Stanley decided to go to the meeting. Stanley's obsession with this was such a Stanley decided Oh, come now. You don't want it to end already, do you? Why don't we begin again? Wait, how did you do that?
Let's kick off the top 3 with Haiku the Robot, a pixel art Metroidvania that I'm so happy to see get the amount of success that it has, since I believe this is from a solo developer that has put in the work. You play as a little robot in a post-apocalyptic world filled with corrupted robots that want to destroy you, having to explore and fight in order to uncover the mysteries of the world. You know the drill by now, since this game does have inspiration from many other titles in the space, namely Hollow Knight and Kunai, but is a very well made one of these and deserves a spot. I just talked about Dofromantic in my video on the best relaxing games which you can watch, link in the top right, but if you've already watched that, you know why this sits high on the list. It is a relaxing city builder puzzle game where you're placing down tiles, which expands the map, where having complementary tiles next to each other gets you more points for more tiles, where the adorable look of this simply adds to the relaxing vibes. It does remind me of board games like Carcassonne, but wonderfully translated to a video game, making this one of interest. My god, they have done it again. Rogue Legacy 2 is a sequel to the indie game that started this journey for me all those many years ago, releasing out of early access, and is bigger and better in so many ways. This is the genealogical roguelite platformer where you play as successive members of a family of heroes, each of which is unique in their own way, with special traits that always keeps things interesting. Instead of a single morphing castle, the variety in biomes and areas in this sequel has expanded, where you're exploring an entire kingdom instead. Enemy variety has been improved as well, with some returning fan favourites tweaked for the sequel, but the highlights were and are the combat, character class variety, and progression and upgrade system. While I do love my pixel art, I do think that the change from Rogue Legacy 1 to 2 has been excellent, with this new hand-drawn 2.5D look being fantastic as well. So if you want to experience one of the best roguelites of all time but with a fresh new coat of paint and more, this is one to get, taking the #1 spot. For more roguelite titles, watch these videos and I will see you after the jump.